But here it is, the absolute biggie, the surprise shock announcement that no one expected, which is going to be a fantastic opportunity for property investors and developers in 2024. So we've just had the autumn statement of 2023. What does it mean for property investors? Well, actually quite a lot. There was actually a surprise nugget in there, which is going to be a tremendous opportunity for small-time property investors and developers. I'm going to run through that and what it means for you guys in this video. So I've watched through the Chancellor's autumn statement. This is not an overall summary of what he all talked about, but this is specifically teasing out the key elements which make a difference to us guys as property investors and developers. Now, of course, this is an autumn statement, which is basically a budget by a different name. We're meant to have one budget a year in the spring, but at times when things are, quite frankly, all over the place, they tend to introduce this autumn statement thing, which is a budget, but just by a different name and doesn't involve the Chancellor holding up his red box. Now, there's been a lot of banging on about how inflation has halved and all the rest of it. Yes, it's 4.6, but you've got to bear in mind that's still more than double the Bank of England target for inflation, which is going to mean that interest rates and all of that are going to remain a bit more solid for quite some time to come, which is going to make it difficult to fend off a property recession as we head into 2024. On property news, there was some good news for social housing landlords in that LHA, local authority housing rates, had previously been frozen, but from 1st of April 2024 they're going to be increased to take into account there's been such an increase in rent in the private rented sector. I don't think there's actually that much in this statement for small businesses. Corporation tax, of course, is still high, 25% increase from 19% last time round. Business rates, of course, increased in April. There's some relief there on business rates, but I'm not sure whether that's going to go far enough to stem the crisis in the commercial property space, which is meaning that there is ever more defunct commercial spaces which are ripe for repurposing. In a previous video we talked about Michael Gove and his reforms to permitted development rights to convert these buildings into residential use. That's all coming up early next year. Nothing further on that from Jeremy Hunt in this statement, but that's going to give tremendous opportunity. I mean, the biggest thing Jeremy Hunt banged on about for business was this fully expensed regime where capital expenditure can now be fully expensed in the first year. Well, it's not really a tax cut, it's just a timing difference. You could always fully expense stuff, but over a period of time under the capital allowances regime. And in any case, small businesses had an annual investment allowance of up to £1 million. So this benefit is really for much larger businesses. The Chancellor boasted about 110 supply-side reforms that he was going to introduce to get the economy growing. He trumpeted a lot of stuff on planning, in particular for larger house builders, but he did talk about some reform to business planning applications. And what they're saying is he's going to allow local authorities to charge more planning fees to the applicant when they're putting forward business planning applications. And in return they will get a prompt response. And if the local authority doesn't respond promptly, then you can get a refund of those fees. Now, I think with this, there are going to be some winners and losers. Of course, a business application, a planning application, could be for a minor alteration to a shop front, for example. Does that mean there are going to be higher fees for that? There was nothing announced on stamp duty and land tax. We were hoping for some reduced SDLT regime in exchange for making environmental upgrades and the like, but that was mooted earlier but didn't actually happen. But here it is, the absolute biggie, the surprise shock announcement that no one expected, which is going to be a fantastic opportunity for property investors and developers in 2024. The Chancellor just announced a consultation on a new permitted development right. A new permitted development right to take a dwelling, a house, and convert it into 2 flats. Now this is absolutely brilliant. Of course there have been permitted development rights on dwelling houses before, but these have all been around making the dwelling house bigger, not splitting it or subdividing it into 2 or more units. So this is revolutionary, and it's the first PD right ever to allow subdivision of a residential property. Now in many areas of the country it won't be worthwhile to implement this new permitted development right because the values of houses are low. Now this is going to really come into effect in areas where house values are in excess of the national average. So if you're picking up a small house, for example, £300,000–400,000, and you've got a permitted development right to convert that into 2 flats, that's going to be a tremendous opportunity for you guys in 2024. This is going to be an opportunity you're going to want to capitalize on as soon as it comes in, because I expect lots of local authorities, particularly ones around London, to start applying for Article 4 to exempt them from this PD right. Now this particular announcement is big, and we're going to be keeping you up to date on how this progresses and manifests itself in the future. So if you want to keep up to date with all of this, make sure you subscribe to this channel, hit the bell icon. We release 3 videos each and every week, and they're all dedicated to keeping you on top of your property investing game. We're also going to be discussing this particular PD right and what it means at our forthcoming Baker Street Property Meet, which is the UK's largest property investors networking event, where 300 people meet in central London. Our next meeting is Wednesday 28th of November. You can grab a place, there are a few places left, at bakerstreetpropertymeet.com. See you guys there, and see you guys in the next video. The Baker Street Property Meet is the UK's largest and #1 property investors networking event. The property market is going through monumental change right now, and at Baker Street Property Meet we aim to keep you up to date with the latest tips and tricks and insider tactics to help you keep on top of your property investing game and succeed in these troubled economic times. The Baker Street Property Meet is fundamentally about networking, because it's not what you know, it's who you know. And at Baker Street we aim to connect you with the people to make your property journey a monumental success. There's no better place to be to further your property investment journey than the Baker Street Property Meet. So make sure you're here, you're connecting with myself and Andrew Roberts, our expert guest speakers, and 300 passionate property people each and every month. See you at the next meet. Get your spot at bakerstreetpropertymeet.com.